Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chapter Tactics, where we go over tactics and strategies to help out both new and veteran players alike. I am Magikarp Usefly, also known as Matt, and with me today we have our regular co-host, Demeki.
Hey, everybody, how y'all doing?
He's drinking his Perrier. Perrier.
Yes.
And we have John P. as well.
Hey, glad to be here.
And finally, we've got Bricky.
Hello.
Yeah, he's just in a cage. If you guys,
Yeah, I've been let out.
His voice might be a little muffled.
For scraps.
Yeah. So today we're going over the Sisters of Battle Codex. Well, not going over the Codex, but talking more about Sisters of Battle. Last time that we talked about Sisters of Battle, we kind of only talked about like one list, and then that was pretty much it. So I feel like that now we can kind of just go over the Codex even more now that, you know, we've had more time to look at it and understand what's going on with Sisters. And yeah, but before we go into that topic, this show is brought to you by frontlinegaming.org, where you can get amazing game mats for not just your 40K games, but almost any tabletop game out there. Purchase miniatures at a discount and join some of the largest 40K events in the industry. They also have the largest 40K podcasting network in the business, with shows like Signals from the Frontline, Chapter Tactics, which you're listening to right now, 40K Game Changers, 40K Stats Center, Grim After Dark, and so much more. That's frontlinegaming.org. And check it out, SoCal Open coming up soon. So go get your tickets now. They are available, and come join us because we will be there as well. All right. It's time.
It's time.
It's time to talk about Sisters.
Oh my god.
Yeah. What have you guys been up to lately? Besides the Sisters, how many games have you guys played recently, or have you guys ever played against Sisters, like in the for 9th edition on their new codex?
I used to fight my sisters all the time growing up.
That was in the first edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, way back then, huh? Throwback.
Yeah. So I'm gonna guess no, right?
Nah, I have not.
Nah.
Played. I have a game scheduled with Sisters in a few weeks, but nope, haven't played them yet.
All right. Well, then you got to take notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, from what I am hearing about this codex, there's a lot of variety, a lot of variance, so he could be throwing anything at me.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
A little bit. Depends
Yeah.
on what you can be fighting.
Yeah. It's like the perfect tailoring army at a point, because like they can literally run anything that they want and it's fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You want shooting, you want melee, you want a little bit of both.
Yeah. So like if you're playing against them, like, and the person's just like, "What army are you running? What list are you running? What are you doing?"
Tell me now.
Yeah, tell me now. Don't tell them a dime. Don't tell them a single thing.
Yeah.
I could run anything.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. You don't know me.
Yeah.
What's that flag girl? I'm running her.
Yeah, your buddy's gonna be pulling up. He's like, "Yeah, man, I really want to try an all armor army for Imperial Guard. You know, lots of tanks and stuff." You're like, "That's funny. Let's look at what units have multi-meltas."
Yeah. So let's get into the Sisters topic right here. Sisters of Battle have been out for a while, and they've been putting up great results at tournaments. But what exactly do they do, and how do they work? Today we're joined by Bricky, and an
Extraordinary.
Yeah,
Am I
an
extraordinary.
extraordinary man that loves Sisters to pick his brain on how the army works. So I think that the first thing that we should talk about is the big changes from 8th to 9th edition.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll mention this in case people don't realize. Sisters are my favorite army. I play them a lot. I didn't play them much before they got their revamp in 8th, but because they were all metal.
Yeah.
Which was just terrible. But from 8th to 9th, it's really been nice, because 8th Sisters were kind of this weird spot where they had builds you could do. But if you went to a tournament, you saw the same thing, which was Repentia, Rhino, Retributor, all
Bloody
multi-meltas.
Rose.
All Bloody Rose, all multi-meltas.
Yeah.
Maybe some Valorous Heart here and there, but it was very one-note and very boring. Bloody Rose was like S+++ tier.
Yeah.
Everything else was A-.
Yeah. I don't even remember most of the stuff that the other orders that people would run.
Yeah, it was funny because I would run weird lists against you guys all the time, and it was just not at all indicative of what you'd find at a tournament.
Oh yeah. Bloody Rose is disgusting.
It
so was
good.
disgusting. It's still good now, but not as good as it was before.
The gap between, if people said Bloody Rose back in the day was the best, now you could argue Bloody Rose, maybe Argent Shroud, but Edmund Chalice in some competition.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. It's not just a clear winner, which is cool.
Yeah. And I think that the biggest change from 8th to 9th is actually the changes to Miracle Dice, because you don't get as much as you used to in 8th edition,
Yeah,
right?
you are starved unless you build for it.
Yeah.
Which I'd say was okay. I was a little adverse to it in the beginning because, wow, it's like half.
Yeah.
But for a while, I thought that the strongest part about Miracle Dice was actually the ability to Miracle Dice a charge roll. And I was thinking, okay, they either get rid of that or they find some other way to balance it. And they balanced it by just saying, you don't get as many.
Yeah.
Here's just less.
But you can still do it.
You can still do it,
Yeah.
but
Less.
now that 6 and 3 you have to use to get your 9-inch deep strike charge or whatever. That's a 6 you could have had on a Melta-Gun. And that Melta-Gun, you throw that 6 in there, that's bye-bye Chicken Walker.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have to spend resources, which requires decision-making, which is always great.
On average, how many Miracle Dice do you think you get like now in 9th edition?
Oh, goodness.
Like from someone that's not like tailoring their list to get a bunch of Miracle Dice.
If you're running like a Argent Shroud, maybe Bloody Rose list, and the Repentia aren't dying too much because you get a Miracle Dice if Repentia die, oh gosh, I don't know. Because you get 1 per battle round, and you get 1 for killing a unit in a phase.
Yeah. And then also one if a character dies, right?
And 1 if a character dies. So at most, if it's your turn, you'll probably get, like on the first battle round, you get 3. If you killed something in shooting, killed something in melee, and the battle round. Hopefully
Get a 4th one if you sacrifice. If you just
You just kill the character.
Yeah.
I rolled a 1 for my first Miracle Dice. I use a plasma gun. I kill off.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So not and then you're using them throughout time. Unless I was running my Sacred Rose build, I rarely had more than 2 to 3 Miracle Dice in my pool at a time. I was constantly spending them.
Yeah.
Oh, so like less. You're not even touching double digits most of the time.
No,
Yeah.
no, I
Okay.
never touched double digits. Even my Sacred Rose build, I wasn't touching double digits.
Does is there a way to give your Meltas extra damage besides like being within half range?
Nope, not anymore.
So it's just
With the exception of a Inferno Pistol relic.
okay.
Besides that, no.
So what you're saying is that
Storm of
Orcs-
Retribution.
So, no, what you're saying is that orc squig buggies that have 6 wounds and they're farther away from you, even if you spent the 6 with Ramshackle, they don't die.
I believe Ramshackle only works on
Oh yeah,
under
strength 8.
strength
Under
8.
strength 8.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Orc
so,
Buggy.
So goodbye, orc buddy. Do you
Yes.
want that or do you want the definite charge? Well, I guess it's flexible.
It's very flexible. You can choose. If you're
Yeah.
Argent Shroud, the Meltas. If you're Bloody Rose, the Charge.
Yeah. What other changes are there from 8th to 9th that are pretty big?
I'd say that the Blessings of the Faithful are pretty big, and the hymns. So every
Oh yeah, because you have litanies now.
now we have a litany type
Yeah.
deal. They're not amazing, but they're very nice buffs to have, and I like them. And the Blessings of the Faithful are the character upgrades. They're very, very good and useful.
Yeah.
Besides that, honestly, the biggest changes over really weren't the new things you got, but just the internal balancing of the Codex.
Yeah, it was like more like a lateral move,
Yes.
kind of, right?
Yeah, they were S tier before. I'd still call them S tier, but they didn't go to S plus or
Yeah. They're not on the same level as Drakari and Admech as of right now.
Yes.
But they are like below them by just like a smidge. Right.
I worry almost a little bit that Drukari and Admech are what's keeping Sisters from becoming Drukari and Admech.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So if Drukari and Admech get some nerfs, I actually think Sisters might become the new Drukari.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, if both of the 2 S tier armies are no longer S tier, then the A tier armies become S tier.
That's true. That's true. But originally I assumed it to be like Admech, Drukari, Sisters, Orcs.
Yeah.
Now I'm more on the Admech, Drukari, Orc Sisters because I've been seeing some Orc stuff lately. and-
Oh, it's disgusting.
oh my God.
Yeah, dude, squig buggies.
But even so, we were looking. Me and John P were looking earlier at some tournament placings, and Sisters were in top 4s almost the entire time.
Yeah.
and with a variety. Some mad lad brought 6 penitent engines and got first place
With
Yeah.
buzzsaws, right?
with saws.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was saying, like Sisters are coming up with pretty good tournament showings, right?
And diverse tournament showings.
Because most times when you look at tournament lists, they're usually all pretty much the same. Like Drakari, I guess, kind of. I mean, like with Naden's builds nowadays, like he runs
Chronos.
The Chronos, yeah, but I mean, there's still other builds besides the Chronos build. Like if you look at Scari's most recent iteration, his looks pretty good, and it's 3 Chronos, 3 Talos, a bomber, and some other stuff.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a little bit more flavor.
Yeah.
It's no longer a whole bunch of witches, Drazar, and Incubi, and like.
Oh no, there's still a whole bunch of witches, Drazar, and Incubi.
Right, but you can kind of make it around now, right?
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
And with recent nerfs to ad mech, in terms of like chicken walkers no longer being core and all that stuff, ad mech lists are definitely changing a lot nowadays.
Yeah.
But still, it's like they're pretty much the same. But Sisters is probably like what you said. They have a lot of variety comparatively to the other big armies that are out there.
They also were not, at least not that I'm aware of, they were not given a balancing FAQ.
No,
Not yet.
No, not yet.
All
No.
they did was fix some typos that
Yeah.
should never have made it to the Codex.
Dude, that's what's great about being an A-tier army, right? You never get nerfed.
Oh, I call them S, but
Yeah.
maybe like S minus.
Yeah. No, don't never say S. Just say that they're A. And then just sneak in there and be
Yeah.
like, I never got hit by a nerf. It's all good.
There are some things that I think could use a nerf in the Sisters Codex, but I'd say that there are more weak units that nobody takes than there are 2 good units.
Yeah, I mean, you can say the same thing about Jakari. There's like a lot of units that Jakari have that are not that great.
These
Yeah.
Beastmasters.
Yeah.
All the animals, the burbs.
yeah.
I actually
burbs,
really like the burbs.
You like the
They're
burbs?
pretty
cool.
The burbs are basically Necron scarabs, but just a little weaker.
Yeah.
And cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they're worse.
Yeah.
But they're cheaper.
Yeah, but so then they're worse. But
Dude,
like
you
they're,
can,
they're weak.
dude, you
They're,
can
they're
like,
taking a slot.
can you take like the Alfred Hitchcock army and just
just birds.
just like 27 birds?
Imagine showing up. All right, I have a real space raid, but it's mostly birds.
Yeah, check this out.
All right, so those are the changes, but from 8th to 9th, those are the biggest ones that you could think of?
I'd say so.
Okay, so what about secondaries? Like, how do Sisters build their secondaries? Because, you know, obviously when you're going into a tournament or when you're trying to play competitively, you should be building your lists around certain secondaries that you want to take, you know, get your game plan in there. What are the secondaries that Sisters take? Because when I was looking at their secondaries, they don't look that strong comparatively to something like
Codex
Herd to
ones?
Prey. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, particularly because you generally want to build your list for secondaries in general.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing AdMech, John P, or
Yeah.
you guys build your lists for an idea. As for the Sister secondaries, 3 of them are pretty good. I like Defend the Shrine on maps with a small amount of objectives. Leap of Faith, it has to be built for, generally with Sacred Rose or Our Lady. And then other one I don't remember the name of. It's
Slay the Heretic.
Is that what it's
the
called?
one?
Slay the Heretic?
Is that the Killy one?
Yeah, it should be the Killing one.
You like that one?
Oh, you have to build for that one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I read that one. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, it's a little tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do like that one as well, but you have to build for it. Normally, I find Sisters to be pretty solid at most of the base ones.
Yeah.
Like, you could do pretty well with To the Last.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you have high costing characters, but all your chaff is like pretty low costing.
High costing characters,
Yeah.
or you could do really big squads of things like Sacrosanct that are hard to kill. And, you know, if you run Morven Vol, she's hard to kill in general,
Yeah.
and she's a 9-wound character.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
And you have Celestine that's protected by the bodyguard rule.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So Celestine is protected by the bodyguard rule, can revive on a 2, technically has 10 wounds with a 2-up armor, 4-up invul, 6 of those wounds at -1 damage,
Yeah.
and you have overspill in case the Gemini die.
Yeah. And that's all. And that's all thinking that that Celestine was even close enough for you to shoot at, or wasn't getting
Yeah.
bodyguarded.
And Celestine is innate deep strike. Hold her till turn 3 and watch as they have nothing to shoot her with.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's quite good to do To the Last. I'd say Engage is great. You've got lots of really good deep strike and chaff. Seraphim with hand flamers, literally 22 points for a 1 power level cost of 2 Crusaders.
Yeah.
That you can just zip.
Yeah. Engage
Put
is
on the
good.
side.
Stranglehold, obviously.
Stranglehold is fantastic.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything where you have to, I think, fight over objectives, because I think Sisters play in like a wave.
Yeah.
You know, they hit you with wave 1, and then you start recovering, and then the deep strike comes in. Surprise! Yeah, and then the people come out of the rhinos, and the Sacrosancts have arrived, and it's like a constant wave. And so you're pretty good at holding mid board. You what's the term? Punch up.
Yeah.
You're punching up.
You're punching up for points. Things are, and often there's actually a lot of ways to give OBSEC. The Dogmata can give a core unit OBSEC, which is pretty powerful. And the Order of Our Lady now has a new 1 CP stratagem to pick an infantry unit or Paragon suit, I think maybe even character, but that might be wrong, and give it OBSEC if they don't fall back.
That's pretty good.
And it's just 1 CP. This unit has OBSEC. Like, that's pretty good.
And
That's
then
really good.
What would be your third, second, like banners probably?
Banners are okay.
Data.
Data's okay. Shadow Operation ones. Of course, if your opponent allows you to pick one against them, assassinate, things like that.
Yeah.
But honestly, you can really just gain. Like you do to the last, engage, and then perhaps banners or Octarius data, and you could do quite well.
Yeah, you're totally fine. And any army that can get like to the last pretty easily, their secondary choices are easy. Yeah.
And anytime that you can play an army that plays the primary objective well, you might as well just double down and take like Stranglehold or something.
Yeah. Stranglehold's great.
Yeah.
Stranglehold's very, very good.
Highest scoring secondary out there next to Stubborn Defiance. So it's just.
It's like, what's the build we talked about last time? Ran Celestine and Morven Vol and a big 10-woman squad of Sacrosants.
Yeah.
So Morven is being protected. Celestine is being protected. Could even be coming in later. And then you have the 10-woman squad of Sacrosants. That's like a free 15.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they can deal with that. Maybe they'll kill the Sacrosants.
Yeah. And then if you think about it, like free 15, like when you're playing the game on your secondaries, you want to score at least 10 on each secondary, because then if you're scoring 10 on each secondary, you're still in the running to win the game. Obviously, you don't need to get the full 15 all the time. But like if you get like 10 to 12, totally fine.
That's great.
And so with to the last and everything, you get your 15, maybe 10 stranglehold. That's like maxing it basically. So it's just
It's really solid. It's really strong.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How do they do in trading? Like, how much chaff do you bring? Like, because you bring MSU mostly nowadays, right?
Sometimes, not like Sacrosants, but other things.
Yeah. So how do they trade? Like, if you're taking something like Stranglehold and you're battling for that mid board, how do you do they trade well? Like, are you okay with trading in your chaff for?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh God. So let's say you take a 5-woman squad of Zephyrim, which are the sword flying girls.
Yeah.
So I think a 5 squad of them is about 75, 80, 90 points.
Oh, so you're cheap enough to where you don't care. Like, you're fine.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
You take them. You slap them with Bloody Rose. You give them the +1 to hit, the Passion, and then the Morven Vol buff. And now 80 points is coming out with, like 30 attacks with exploding 6s, re-rolling all hits and wounds at strength 4 -4.
Okay.
So 80 points has just wiped nearly a full AdMech squad.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
And so you send them out, and they'll die immediately after
but it doesn't matter because you got Stranglehold.
Who cares?
And for reference, the full AdMech squad, you're talking about like Skitari.
Skitari,
Yeah,
a
20 of them would be like 160 points.
Yeah,
So that's definitely a trade up. You're
so it's
getting
incredibly strong.
double cost right there.
Because Seraphim have 3 attacks, I think it says right there.
Yeah, 3 attacks,
3
and then
attacks.
the Sergeant has 4, or Superior has 4.
And then, so it becomes 4 with Bloody Rose, 5 with the Hymn, and then exploding 6s and re-rolling everything.
Yeah.
And at that point, you've already got probably Sisters or something else on the objective.
Yeah.
And then if they pull you off, well, then you just kill them because then they've exposed themselves.
And then you also have like your rhinos and everything protecting everything else. So
It's just the waves.
Yeah, so you can definitely play cagey with the army and then just play for the mid board and then, just win off of just points just because of literally to the last.
If you want to do a beta strike with Sisters, totally fine. Put them in your rhinos, hold them back, move them up like that 6 inches. You always like to kind of sort of get there, but don't let the opponent charge you. And then come on out, or throw Dominions in your rhinos, throw Retributors in your rhinos, move them up 6 inches, take them out, and then just torch the entire front line.
Yeah.
That pregame move is nasty.
Yeah.
So all of that is completely an option, and both of them are far from bad.
Yeah. Question for the Exploding 6s.
Yeah.
Is it worth enough to reroll everything that's not 6 to fish for 6s?
No.
Or you just reroll the misses?
Just reroll the misses.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because unless you're like Space Wolves
Yeah, we
with
get
the
double.
successor chapter where
Yeah.
you get like 3 exploding,
Yeah.
you're gonna like if you fish for the 6s on just a single exploding 6,
Not worth.
it's not worth
Yeah.
it because you're not gonna get the full value out of it in case you miss.
The only time I would ever go with that is if you had some kind of reroll wounds, like from Morven Vol, and you were running the Rapturous Blows Blessing, which gives you mortal wounds on 6s in melee, and you're fighting Drago with a 3-up invul.
Yeah,
And you're just like, I'll just try to mortal wound him to death.
Yeah. Or if you hit on 2s, then I could see you
Yeah.
like fishing for 6s because you're probably going to hit everything.
Yeah.
That'd
So
make
it doesn't
easier.
matter. Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. Go.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Demeki's fought my sisters a lot. I think
Yeah.
he's just like sick of it.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
So what are the big combos that you see a lot of when it comes to sisters?
Morven Vault could use a 15-point increase. That's for certain.
That's a big combo right there.
Morven Vault with
Morven Vault herself.
with things.
yeah.
Combo.
Morven Vault combining it with that squad of Zephyr I mentioned. It doesn't feel bad when you fire a full Retributor squad of 12 multi-melta shots with full rerolls to hit and wound.
Yeah.
That's not terrible. There's Paragon Warsuits. They actually become somewhat possibly worth it with Vol giving them a buff because they can be in both phases. Vol can give it to Celestine.
Is she
yeah,
captain? Is it chapter?
She can give her buff to core and character.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
so she's your chapter master.
Yeah. Equivalent.
Chapter. Yeah, she's our Gilliman equivalent. She's the big
Yeah.
big person. Those are some great combos there. Sacrosankt's great option there because they hit quite hard. But all of those combos are great. She's a wonderful character. There's a couple other nice combos. I enjoy the Hospitaller with the Book of St. Lucius. No, that's not the one. There's a thing that gives them 3-inch aura and then Indomitable Belief so that your Hospitaller has a 6-inch Feel No Pain aura and a 9-inch +1 Invul aura. Makes them pretty useful.
Okay.
That is just helpful for buffing. The Canoness has the Rapturous Blows ability I mentioned as well.
Talking about the Book of St. Lucius?
Oh, I was right. Okay, Book of St. Lucius, yes.
Yeah.
There was also the Canoness with the Emperor's Grace to allow for a bubble of no rerolls when you're attacking core units, which is great.
Wait, it only activates if you're attacking. So they can't reroll if they're core?
So the interesting thing is, unlike Morty, but it's where in the beginning of the battle round, or maybe it's your turn, I think it's your command phase, it allows you to spend a miracle dice to give her that aura. And if the unit, I believe the core or character in her aura is being the subject of an attack, then no rerolls hit, wound, or damage.
Gotcha.
But it's just for that one turn, or battle round, I guess, until your next command phase.
That's still pretty good.
It's great, and it's like a 15-point upgrade.
Yeah.
You have to spend a miracle dice, but
Who cares?
it's super good. I've been finding it a little bit less powerful than I thought due to the abundance of plus to hit.
Yeah.
But against, hey, when Deathwatch Man wants to bring out a full to reroll the wound Volkite, and you're no. It feels really good.
Yep.
But you have to be in range of it, right?
Right.
No. So it's when they're attacking you.
So,
okay.
that one particular unit.
No.
It's an aura.
It's an aura. So
okay.
I see what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
like Be'lakor.
Does Bellicor do that?
Be'lakor stops you from rerolling hit rolls no matter what. So like
On him?
Yeah.
Right. It's like that, but it's for an aura of all your units.
Yeah. So it's the same
okay.
thing. Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, because that's what the miracle dice is for, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Changes the
That's
aura size.
The aura size. But the max is what?
6.
6.
A 6 will become a 6-inch. A 1 is a 1-inch, and 2 through 5 is 3 inches.
Okay.
I don't know why they didn't just make the inch the number, but
Yeah.
hey, man.
Might as well use a 2.
Yeah.
2, you get the same value.
Remember, this is 6 inches.
It's big boy. Those are all pretty good combos. I do very much like the Dominion or the 20-woman Battle Sister Squad outfitted with 4 Stormbolters because then they have Blessed Bolts for the up to 6 mortal wounds for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is so good.
It's on
so
the
good.
it's on the hit rolls too, right?
Hit roll of
Yeah.
6.
So you could use Morven Vial to just be like, I re-roll that, and now I got a bunch of 6s.
They did the math. I think it was either Goonhammer or one of the people did the math. And if you have all 4 Stormbolters in range, so 16 shots, and you have the full rerolls, it's a 98% chance that you'll get 3 6s.
Yeah.
Because you only need 3 6s for 6 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Easy. It's easy.
It's very, very. That's something that Sisters has. I think that's
Unless
what
you're
makes
shooting
them,
into Be'lakor and then you can't reroll.
you can't do it.
Miracle dice of 6s also count for that?
They do.
Okay.
Miracle dice count as unmodified.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which makes them quite frightening with Celestine, because unmodified hits of 6 with Celestine also do 2 mortals. Unmodified wounds of 6 with Mortal Vol does 1 mortal. And then there's a couple of things you could screw around with, like the Sacred Rose stratagem for 6s explode and shooting.
Yeah.
So Melt-A-Gun 6, get an extra shot.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that Sisters have actually a lot of access to mortal wound output.
They have a ton.
Yeah. You have
I think they have the most currently.
out of No.
Are you sure? Oh, okay. Besides the psychic armies.
Yeah.
Besides the psychic armies.
Yeah,
I was about to say,
think even Drakari still has probably a lot more.
I don't know. So Celestine does mortals. Vol does mortals. You have the him that does mortals.
No, well, yeah.
You've got the stratagem that does mortals. There's the penitent engine stratagem that does mortals. There's the other penitent engine stratagem that does mortals.
Yeah, if we're not counting the psychic army, sisters have the most.
I would say they have the
wound
most.
output. Yeah.
Besides psychic armies.
Yeah, because when you said that, I was like, K-Suns wants a word with you.
That's very true. That's very true.
Y'all also have the most cheesiest way to deny psychic powers too.
Yeah. So
Sacred Right.
It's so bad.
we haven't. I mean,
it's
not.
good, but
Yeah.
it hurts.
It's one of those things where it is good because sisters, they're the anti-witch.
Yeah.
But damn, does it feels bad?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to choose a sacred right for it.
To get a 5 up.
To get a 5 up, unless, because you usually want to run the passion anyways, right? For your sacred right.
Normally, yeah.
So
Plus your Ebon Chalice, which lets you get 2.
Yeah. So if you're running like a standard sisters list, you're probably not going to be choosing the 5 up sacred right because you want the passion more.
Unless you walk up to Grey Knights and you're like, this is a better decision.
Yeah, for a 5 up, but then you lose the passion.
Yeah, but then you get a turn of Gate of Infinity.
Bricky, what is life without passion?
Gate of Infinity is gone.
That's true. Yeah.
It's dead.
Yeah.
Where's your 39 Mortal Wound Strike squad now?
Yeah. But it's still pretty good. I mean, it's better than doing a regular Deny the Witch, because a regular Deny the Witch you have a harder chance to deny the witch, whereas yours is just always 1/6 chance.
The 6 I think is about equivalent to needing to, if the opponent did a warp charge of I think 9. So you needed to roll a 10 through 12.
Yeah.
So I believe it's the same as that, or better than that.
Yeah.
But the 5 is much better.
Yeah. And then it's also on every unit. So it's
every unit can do it.
Yeah. So you have a lot of ways to answer it, which is, I think it's fine. I
It's
think
a little
it's okay.
feels bad, man, but it's not. It's one of those things where you're fighting a Tyranid army and you just happen to roll a 6.
Yeah,
and
and then
oof.
even if you go up against those psyker armies, they have storm bolters and they have inferno bolt guns. So it's
Inferno bolt guns.
or inferno guns, the K-Suns.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, they have that thing. Yes.
Yeah, so it's
They still hurt.
yeah, they still hurt in shooting and stuff, and they have answers for it, so it's not too bad.
No, it's
but
not bad.
but I get what you're saying, where it is feels badsy.
It's actually one of the benefits to running the Triumph of St. Catherine that a lot of people don't think about. One of her relics is all 6 sacred rites are active for her.
Yeah.
So, that.
Oh wait, how is the Triumph? How is the Coffin Dance?
I love the Triumph. It's not as good as Celestine. It's not as good as Vol.
Yeah.
But now that it can be screened, which is insane to me. And it has some things. Now that you can make 20 woman squad sisters, having a 6-inch aura of fearlessness, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Having a character with 18 wounds, -1 to hit, and a 4-up invul that can be screened.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
She doesn't hit super hard, but she's got some mortals, which is nice. She gives you a miracle dice or a battle round, which is nice. One of her best abilities is once per battle round, when you use a miracle dice on a unit within 6, turn that miracle dice into a 6.
And then you have access to that in other ways, don't you? To change a miracle dice to a 6?
No. The Dialogus can plus or minus it, but that's about it.
Oh, okay.
But that's the main one. But yeah, making it into a 6, we just talked about how important 6s are. Sometimes when I fire my Storm Bolters for Blessed Bolts, I'll roll all but 1 dice just in case, and I'll only get maybe 2 6s. I'm like, oh, good.
Need that extra one.
Or I'll get 3. I'm like, oh, I don't need it.
Now, why do you not run her anymore? Are there better HQ choices?
I do run her. Oh, do you mean in general?
In general,
Oh,
yeah.
Because Morven Vol is disgusting.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And Celestine is really, really good. And the Triumph isn't very killy.
Do you bring, is it usually a single detachment or patrol battalion? Are you running 2 different orders or one order?
Normally, it's both.
Okay.
I'd say there's 50% chance that you could do one or the other.
50% chance? You have to flip a coin, and then it's just maybe today I'll do it.
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
We saw the tournament list earlier, and one of them was Patrol of Argent Shroud, Patrol of Valorous Heart.
Yeah.
The other one was Full Bloody Rose.
Yeah.
Then there was Patrol of Bloody Rose, Patrol of Ebon Chalice.
Well, I'm wondering more so in case of wondering how many HQs you want to take. You know what I mean?
It depends. Some people are keen on just having Vol and Celestine.
And so you could just run like a battalion. Or,
So yeah. Some people like to take a Canoness and a Palatine. Some people like that missionary. Some people like missionary.
Yeah,
They're interested in missionary.
Okay, all
It's
right.
a classic
It's a
missionary.
classic.
Now,
You know?
Do you
Don't talk the classics.
when, so what you're saying is that you value more of your everything else, like as in your troops, elites, and fast attacks more so than you value your HQ units?
Maybe. Well, I can't say that when Morven Vol exists.
Yeah, but besides Morven Vol and
Celestine.
Celestine, yeah.
A little bit. Sisters do that thing that AdMech does, where they have a lot of really great characters, and a lot of them can be really cheap.
Yeah.
So yes, but because Sisters back in 8th, they were buffs on buffs on buffs. They still are to an extent, so you need those characters. But at the same time, like, yeah, Sacristants are very good.
Yeah.
Repentia are very good.
Yeah, do you want to Triumph or do you want to run a bunch of Sacristants and like,
the
a bunch of other stuff?
The Triumph is like 225 points.
That's
and-
expensive.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
and you know how many points 10 Repentia is? 140.
Yeah.
So-
So you don't get, it's not as efficient.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. But a lot of buffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all have gotten like a lot of new models, like from
Yes.
8th to 9th. Like y'all have gotten a lot
mean,
of new models.
Well,
so like,
I mean, like in 8th edition, they got like an entire new art or like a new.
They got a revamp.
Yeah.
yeah, they got a revamp.
yeah.
But like, but what are your favorite models that have come out for this army?
Well, the Triumph is pretty good. That was the old one. Are you referring to like the 9th edition new models?
Yeah. Most of the new 9th edition stuff.
Well, there's this chick called Vol, right?
Yeah.
Besides Morven, I figured that one was going to be one.
Yeah. The Sacristants are pretty great. They look dope.
Yeah.
Shields and halberds, come on now.
Yeah.
And they are very, very effective. I like the Dogmata a lot. I think she's very good. Almost a little too good. I think she makes the other priest units too strong. So you've seen the Dogmata. She has the little staff,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
bonking staff. So she's 65 points. She can do one of the hymns. She can give a unit obsec once per turn, and she has a 6-inch bubble of shoot and do actions.
What?
good.
That's really good.
60 points?
65.
65. Can you give her a warlord trait?
Yep.
And so you can make her even better.
And a relic.
yeah.
Do y'all still have do you have a stratagem also that gives you perform an action and shoot?
Nope.
No.
Okay. So that makes sense. That makes sense.
That's our way.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what the actions that like Sisters are going to be running is like it's only going to affect one infantry. It's actually not that big.
If there's an army that has chaff, well, actually, that would be like guard or something. But Sisters have plenty of chaff.
Yeah, so
Well,
they're,
that's
they're
what
fine.
gold bonds for. If you have chaff.
Yeah.
If you're chafing.
So
That's dumb, Demeki. That's it, Demeki. I'm bringing Vol out next game.
so what? How do you play against like the current meta when it comes to like fighting against Drukhari and Admech and stuff?
Luckily for me, Drukhari are glass cannons, which means they do not like. Well, you know when things are made of tissue paper.
Yeah.
Tissue paper sets alight pretty quick.
Yeah.
So flamers are great. It's interesting because Drukhari with Cult of Strife can turn off Overwatch, I think.
That is true. Cult of Strife can turn off Overwatch, but it's on a witch that's charging, of course. Yeah.
Right. So with penitent engines, like a squad of 3 of them, which therefore have 6 heavy flamers, which are now strength 6, so wounding witches on 2s.
Yeah.
Or the fact that Celestine has a flamer sword and just hand flamers from Seraphim. I find it not too hard that once the things come out of the Raiders, that you can just come down and torch them all.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Zephyrim combo against Admech.
Yep.
The 6's Miracle Dice against the Dragoons. Bellstar.
Iron Star,
yeah.
Bellstar.
No one runs Dragoons.
Yeah.
I like
They're really
Dragoons.
cool. They're really cool though.
They're so dope.
Yeah.
I'm so
I
sorry.
actually saw a tangent. Actually saw a tournament list that ran 2 squads of 2 dragoons that finished like 3rd.
Ooh.
So
Ryza?
no, it was Mars. No, I don't know what it was. It was not Ryza though.
Oh.
But yes. Anyways, back to Sisters.
I love Rizza.
Yeah, Ryza's cool. That's a good way to do it as well. But also, some guy has 9, 7, whatever, Raiders hiding behind terrain.
Yeah.
That Rhino with that pregame 6-inch move, get out 3, 6 inches to get a 15-inch move on a squad full of multi-meltas. I mean, what are you gonna do? Rhino, a Raider is T6, right?
Raider is T6. That's
so
right.
our new heavy flamers are strength 6. So now the Retributors with heavy flamers coming out, possibly maxing shots, torching all that, or 6 mortal wounds with those Stormbolters.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you probably, in order to retaliate, you've either gotten all your dudes out to kill all of mine in the Raiders, or you've taken your Abmech stuff and shot me. But by then, I'm on all the objectives.
Yeah.
And now my Seraphim or Zephyrim are coming down. Celestine might be carving things up. Don't forget that Morven Vol has 2 rocket launchers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got shoulder rocket launchers. They do D6 damage. Thank God.
So how many Raiders can you pop in a turn?
Well, I mean, there's always dice issues, but I mean, you take out the let's say we're running that old list with the 2 rhinos with the Dominions and Retributors.
Yeah.
So that will probably kill 2 right there and then because of their speed. And then the Dominions might kill another with their mortal wounds. Who knows what Vol hit with her missile launchers and
Rockets,
heavy bolters.
Yeah.
But this is always, of course, how
the dice
terrain
rolls, yeah.
and terrain.
Yeah.
How well do they hide them?
Yeah. Do you have do sisters have an answer to things like Herd the Prey? Because I know that you can drop stuff in, but obviously they get Herd the Prey at the end of their turn.
Yeah.
Right. Well, tankiness is what stops her to prey often, but also just kind of being everywhere.
Yeah, you got to try to cover the map quadrants as quickly as possible, and then hope to God wherever you put it over there is going to last through that turn.
That turn.
Yeah.
I mean, like Herd the Prey is just it's like the best secondary.
It's pretty
good.
Yeah.
Well, no,
what's Necron's one called? It's the same thing.
Purge the vermin.
Yeah.
But the difference between Necrons and Drakari is that Drakari can kill things.
Yeah, that's true.
And Necrons have a harder
very
time.
slow.
Yeah. Okay.
We need to control this quadrant. I'll be there in 2 turns.
Yeah, but Purge the vermin sounds cooler than Herd the Prey, so whatever, dude.
So when it comes to like speed and stuff, how do sisters deal with that? Like because Drakari is pretty fast, right? So how do you make it so then that way things like your rhinos and stuff that you don't want to get popped early doesn't get popped early with the speed of stuff like from Drakari?
Well, luckily, Dominions and Rhinos have a 6-inch move, so you can always move them out of the way, which is always helpful. But that actually is an issue I do find sometimes when I fight fast armies, is that I am not able to, if you know your opponent can charge you turn 1, which some armies can do, Slaanesh.
Yeah.
Then
Obviously, deploy safe.
back up a little bit.
Yeah.
But besides that, and if you're fighting Slaanesh, sisters have like a million anti-chaos stuff, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd say that the fact that you can have a pretty good bubble. Your whole army has 6 of invul. It can become a 5. For 1 unit, it can become a 4 now. Because if you feel no pain, you can revive stuff with the Hospitaller. And due to the amount of bodies you have, like if you take MSU, you could hide them pretty well.
Yeah.
There's, of course, lots of Deep Strike. Personally, I kind of struggle against really fast armies in general. So I don't really know, besides have transports, what to do against that. But at the same time, if your opponent wants to go real fast, drive hard, drive Mustang, and try to take you out turn 1 in Alpha Strike, that normally leaves them exposed.
Yeah.
So if they can't deal with you quick enough, I mean, say hello to Penitent Engines, say hello to Repentia. They're all coming for you.
Yeah. Well, usually Drakari, they like to cage up turn 1 and then wait. Yeah.
Wait for you to come to them.
Right. Which that
Like
kind of makes a little cat and mouse.
Yeah. That's like how most competitive games go nowadays. It's just like you both armies are just playing very cagey and just trading points for stranglehold, and then
It's literally just
who's going to make the first move.
it's
Unless you're guard. Well, and then you're like, I'm going to make the first move.
move. I'm going.
We're going.
Yeah, I don't care about these guys.
it's funny because like playing cagey, it actually makes second turn so good
Yeah.
because
Certainly
it
can.
puts the first turn army at like a huge problem because it's like we can keep trading units, but if I don't get rid of a lot of his stuff, and if I don't make a big play, then he's just gonna get 15 points on turn 5.
five,
And so it makes it a lot harder.
Then there's also some other issues though, where like if you get turn 2 and you're a psychic army, all your buffs aren't gonna be there,
Yeah.
which can be really rough.
Yeah, definitely. So what would be like the standard skeleton list for a sister's army?
That's a little bit difficult now. I mean, competitively, who to guess? Daring today, are we?
Wow.
Yeah.
But no, normally we like a good whatever, filling out your battalion with your classic 3 squads of Battle Sisters. Sacrosancts are very strong. I don't know a list that doesn't have some Retributors.
Yeah.
You have your multi-meltas. The thing is that so much is usable. You know, do you want Sacrosancts for your melee or Zephyrim or Repentia? All 3 are viable. Do you want tons of multi-meltas and Retributors, or do you want to go the Flamer route and do the Mortal Wounds? Those are all options. I would say that if you're starting Sisters, you want to try out the army, a good old, your Canoness, Celestine's never a bad pickup, neither is Vol. Those are great. Get yourself a couple boxes of Battle Sisters, and because they can also be turned into Dominions and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, a Rhino or 2, some Retributors, maybe some Repentia, and some of the Flyer girls. Make them Seraphim, make them Zephyrim, up to you. I think it's kind of go from there.
Yeah. And I feel like that the reason why there's so many viable builds is also because like all of your orders are pretty good.
All great.
They're all really good orders. It's like the only book that I have seen in 9th edition, even in 8th edition, where like every single sub-faction is good. Most of the time it's like there's like 2 that are good and then everything else is kind of garbage. But
Even like Drukhari, like Obsidian Rose, which I really like. It's not very good.
yeah.
Admech, unfortunately, man, why does Graia have to be so bad?
They destroyed Graia.
I love Graia.
I mean, they have 3, I would say, that are viable right now.
Mars, Lucius, and
Metallica.
Metallica.
Because they got the new thing, right?
Yeah.
No, the thing that's carrying Metallica is the Sheridan book.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do y'all know about High Fleet Gorgon, huh?
I don't.
Yo, is that Deepest Shadow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's Kronos.
No.
Isn't that the reroll something? Reroll hit rolls?
Dude, I'm pretty sure that Tyranid players don't even know what Gorgon is. So I don't know what Gorgon is.
Gork or Mork.
Dude, can you imagine? Like, Drago is down to only 1 wound. He's going to cast Smite, the Deepest Shadow.
Yeah.
But anyway, what was I saying?
The skeleton list. You
Orders, though. The skeleton list, but the orders are great. I thought Sacred Rose was the worst, and I played them, and I'm like, wow, this is solid.
Yeah.
If you want to build a Miracle Dice thing, and then I'm like, okay, Auravar Lady is the worst, and then they got
it.
and then they got the supplement.
Oh yeah.
And then I did 14 mortal wounds with the Canoness to a succubus against the Meki.
Oh, is that you're talking about the Charodon?
The Blade of Sacrifice.
You're talking about the Charodon, though,
Yeah, the
right?
Charodon
book,
book.
too.
And I was like, wow, they might be pretty good now. I mean, Bloody Rose and Argent are probably number 1. Ebon Chalice right below, along with Valorous Heart. Nothing is B tier. They're all at least A.
Yeah.
Which is just wonderful.
It's ridiculous.
He didn't say the magic words of the higher tier above A.
Above,
they're all
S. We're not supposed to say that. Oh, you said it. You said it.
No, it's S in a vacuum. So it doesn't matter.
But like even Valorous Heart, which was people were like, oh, they destroyed Valorous Heart now. Like with this meta, with a Psychic Army especially, army-wide 5-up, feel no pain against mortals.
Yeah.
And if you get hit by any AP 1 or 2, minus the AP by 1.
Yeah.
That on Sacrosancts that already have a 2-up armor,
Pretty good.
it's really solid. They even have a stratagem that's when you are attacking either in melee or shooting for 1 CP, ignore any and all hit modifiers. So if you have any they have any minuses to hit, you ignore that, which is even better because Repentia naturally take a -1 because of their weapon.
Oh, so it's like Keen Senses for Space Wolves, where you just like
give them. Then they hit a 3s.
none of it matters. Yeah.
It's all gone.
And then they're also what's it called? Zealots, right? So then they get to reroll.
They get to reroll all their hit rolls.
Yeah.
So now it's just boom, 1 CP, you're hitting on 3s, not 4s.
Yeah.
And they also have a really strong Warlord trait, which is when they get a 5-up feel no pain naturally, and then if you use a Miracle Dice with that unit, they get they regen a wound. Which you combine with the relic that makes all damage against the Canoness go to 1.
So it's just incredibly hard to kill.
And then you give them the Blessing of the Faithful, so every time it's your turn, they heal D3 wounds. And then you just have this 45-point Canoness just like face tanking everything.
Yeah, it's just like, you better kill me 1 shot. You better make it hurt.
What's it like just running into a Redemptor and it goes from D3 + 3 to 1? And then she has a 4-up invul. And then it's like, oh no, I'm about to die. Miracle dice. Now use a 4-up invul. Not only doesn't take the damage, regains the wound. Unit dies, 2 CP, divine intervention, revive.
Revive. I'm back.
And then heals again.
It's such an annoying unit.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
What are the matchups like? So what are the matchups that you're good against, and then what are the matchups that sisters struggle against?
I think we just fondle Space Marines.
Oh yeah.
Just double cheeked up. Like it's nothing. Repentia are tailor made to kill them. Meltas are everywhere. Even bolters to an extent are decent. We have more units. We've got better buffs. We got better buffs.
Heavy bolters are 2 damage.
Tons of heavy bolters. Good flamers. You know, even our weakest flamer went from strength 3 to 4 now. So that literally almost all of our flamers are +1 to wound against Marines now. Which, when you think about it, tons of mortal wounds, gets through Blade Guard. Think about that. You got a squad of Blade Guard vets. That Blessed Bolt stratagem, 6 mortals. I just wiped 2 of your Blade Guard.
2 Blade Guard dead.
Yeah.
I think they're incredibly easy to deal with. I think a lot of really squishy armies can be dealt with pretty well. I'd say like Guard, because
Yeah, but that's like going to the bottom of the barrel.
yeah, it's true.
We destroyed Guard. We destroyed Tau. We destroyed Craft World.
lots of like mid to low strength weaponry. Lots of bolters and flamers and
because you're naturally
that.
strength 4 with your bolters, right?
Flamers are pretty good.
Yeah.
I struggle a lot against armies that have, I think, I'd say good invuls. I have a tough time against Drukhari sometimes. I also have a tough time against Harleys.
Okay.
But if the Harley player is good, everyone has a tough time against Harleys.
Yeah. And now that people are running like Craft Worlds and Quins now,
It's just a soup.
It's pretty gross.
I find difficulty with high armor save, like spam. If that makes sense. Marines don't count, but with the exception of that Zephyrim thing I mentioned earlier, the Bulwark Imperative Admech Skatari, tons of just these 2-up or 3-up or 2-up bodies that are just hard to get rid of.
With 5-up invulns.
I struggle with Custodians a bit if I don't dive hard into Mortals. Sometimes I do, and then it's just
then you just laugh.
It's just it's like 6 mortal wounds, 2 your guard are dead.
Sorry, dude. You don't even get to roll the dice to feel bad that you.
I
have a 3-up invul.
You know what? We haven't played Death Guard versus Sisters yet.
We have not.
Yeah, but Sister should do well into Death Guard because lots of mortals.
Yeah.
Also, if I run Order of Amara Lady, there's a great stratagem when a character is killed. Your entire army gets +1 to wound against what killed him. So I'm just gonna send a character directly to Mortarion turn 1. make you kill me.
If I bring him,
dude, make him angry and just run a Canoness to it, and then just
Hey, I'm back.
But no, Morty has cleave.
yeah, but it makes it harder. It's just more funny.
It's really funny.
Okay, so then you have a harder time against things that have like lots of invulns.
Fast armies I have trouble with, but I can never tell to what extent that's my difficulty, because even with my normal armies, I kind of struggle against fast armies. But no, I think that the armies that rely heavily on tankiness don't do, or I can do well against because of the mortal wound output. Especially if you particularly dive deep into it. I think Sacred Rose can put out a decent amount of mortals if you run the relic and stuff.
You know what's funny? Sisters do really well against sisters.
I actually think they don't.
Wait, what?
Because of what I mentioned earlier, lots of bodies, good armor saves.
Yeah, but you're also T3, and you have a bunch of bolters, right?
True, but bolters have AP 0.
Yeah, who
And
cares?
Sacrosanct have a 2-up.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, it's fine.
I can't say any mirror match is good against a mirror match.
Dude, like, there's a lot of stuff where mirror matches are good against. Or like,
dude, Grey Knights versus Grey Knights.
Oh yeah,
it's
terrible.
deny.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's not. That's not a good. Grey Knights.
So funny.
Grey Knights do well against other Grey Knights. Who would have thought?
Such a slap fest.
Yeah.
All right, so I only had 1 unit die all game. How about you?
All right, I casted only 1 power this time. What about you?
Fun game, right?
I'm not as good with matchup specific stuff. I almost feel like 40K is better played when you don't care who you're fighting. Which is why I that Sacred Rose build did so well that one tournament, is because you can't stop me spending miracle dice. You literally cannot stop me.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly getting minimum 70 points.
Yeah. Any army that can just do their own thing, like, is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's helpful.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about with Sisters?
Not particularly. I think there's a couple of units in there that really didn't or drew the short straw. The Dialogus in particular, and the Flag Girl is really not that good. But overall, the army is so much more. The options so much higher than before.
Toolbox.
Toolbox is great.
Or straight up a toolbox army.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's interesting because whenever I fight you guys, I rarely take like meta lists. I just run with stuff. I run like an Exorcist and things like that. And even then, it still performs
Really well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
because of your stat lines and everything like that. Yeah.
well. Our stat lines I
And your
think
orders.
are bad, but our buffs, our upgrades, are pretty damn good.
Lots of efficiency.
It's probably Vol could have an extra 15 points tacked on her. Some of the lower units could be a little bit better. Blessed Bolts is a bit strong. But besides that, I feel like overall, and I'm obviously very, very biased, but this is what like a 9th edition Codex should be. Because it's not Drukhari, it's not Admech, but it's pretty damn good, and it has good internal balance.
Yeah, it's good. Anything that's like an A tier for a Dex is like money.
A tier.
Yeah, any A tier. Quote unquote.
Are you looking at the Castigator tank there, Demeki?
Yeah, man, this thing's cool.
It's so bad.
It's so badly cool.
It's so bad.
So cool that's bad.
Dude, my Exorcist,
so bad
my
that's cool.
Exorcist is a pipe organ missile launcher tank, and it sucks.
All right. I think that's it. Thank you guys. That is going to end this episode of Chapter Tactics. Thank you guys for joining us. If you guys like this type of stuff, make sure that you guys hit the like button. Make sure that you guys press subscribe and join the Frontline Gaming Podcasting Network. Bricky, if you would like to plug anything that you want to, go ahead.
Sure. I'm Bricky everywhere. I'm Bricky on Twitch, on YouTube, and Twitter. If you want to tell me why I'm wrong, please do.
Yep. And yeah, so we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.
See you.